Alright, welcome everybody to another mixing video. Today we're going to be looking at routing. The song that we're going to be looking at is a song by a band called Regret the Hour. The song is called Distance. This song was featured in Pensado's Place mixing competition, so I believe you can still find the multi-tracks to this if you want to follow along. And just a heads up, there hasn't been anything done to this. No gain staging, no panning, balancing, nothing. I just routed it into my group tracks. So when we listen to audio examples, it's going to be hitting the master bus really hard, and it's going to be clipping. So don't judge me on that, because the next video is going to be gain staging. So we'll take care of that issue in the next video. So let's look at how I route things. What I always do is I create a group channel for each element in the song. So depending on your song, there might be different tracks. So for example, this song has a piano in it. In fact, it has two. So I created a group channel for the pianos. Your song might have horns, it might have strings, and if it did, I would make a group channel for that as well. So depending on your song, you may give or take some different elements of your group tracks. So pretty straightforward. All my drums are routed to this drum bus. My bass is routed to the bass, guitars to guitars, and so on. We'll talk about this, all effects, vocal effects, all music, and pre-master in a second. So I'm going to open up the mixer, and the reason I'm opening this is because Cubase has a very nice way of visualizing where things are going. So as you can see, all my drums, which is the red here, they're all being routed to drums. Disregard the input on the top, just worry about the bottom for this video. So drums going to drums, bass going to bass, so on and so forth. Okay, so in Cubase, if you look down here, right above the name here, if there's two circles, that means it's a stereo bus. If there's one, that means it's mono. So everything that I have here is stereo except the bass, because each one of these tracks, like guitar and piano, there's multiple tracks. So like, for example, for guitars, there's like 5 different guitars, and they're not all going to be in the center, and they're not all going to be on the left, they're not all going to be on the right. There's going to be some panning amongst those guitar tracks. So I keep it stereo so they can keep their respective panning. But as for bass, there is 2 basses. There's a bass amp and a bass DI, but they're both going to be in the center, so I keep it mono, and I just keep it dead center on the panner for the bus. So pretty straightforward. So let's go over to the things that are a little bit different. So vocal effects, I have a special bus for that, because the reason I have a vocal effects bus is for automation purposes. Sometimes in a chorus, I like to push the vocal effects a little harder, and in the verses or a bridge, I might want to tame them a little bit. Sometimes the vocal effects might need more automation than any other effect that's in the track. So I send that to an all effects, and all effects, the reason I have that is for, well, once again, automation purposes. So maybe I do want all the effects to be boosted. So I always have a vocal effects and all effects bus. Now, all music. The reason I have an all music bus is to have just an instrumental track. So if you look over here at the lead vocals, this is going to my pre-master bus. And background vocals, that's also going to pre-master bus. It's not being routed to all music. Because, you might want just an instrumental and check how your instruments are working together without the vocal. So that's nice, because if I click solo on all music, you can see drums, bass, guitar, piano. It's all being soloed together. Background vocals and lead vocals, as well as the effects, are not being included. If I did route the all effects to the all music, you would hear some vocals in there. Because if the vocals have effects, then that means whatever's being sent to the effects bus is then being sent to all music. And I don't want that. So, and the reason I have a pre-master is basically for that separation. I could just send these to the stereo out, the mix bus, but sometimes it's nice to have the pre-master for a little more control. And also for automation purposes, once again, you might want to raise the volume of the entire track, maybe a half a dB or a dB in the chorus, or whatever you want to do. So this is like automation for your entire track. And as I've said before, automation is greatly important in mixing. So that's a great tool. So this is pretty much how I route everything. So my drum bus, bass, guitars, and pianos, that's all going to all music. My vocals are going to pre-master. Vocal effects goes to all effects. All effects goes to pre-master. And all music also goes to pre-master. And as you can see, pre-master goes to the stereo out, or the mix bus. So let's listen to this a little bit where the vocals start, and I'll show you the all music pre-master, so just so you could get a feel of how this routing works. So I'll be soloing some things just so you can hear how this routing works out and how it's nice. So you can hear the vocals. Now let's take it out. You can see the vocals playing here, but now we're just having an So pre-master is everything.
Bottom of the deepest well, I realize I've lost it.
Background vocals. Here we go.
Any way that you can, any way that you can.
Okay, so as you can see, routing in this way just kind of gives you a little bit more control over the elements, and it's nice to be able to listen to all your drums at once without having to go through and solo each one, that kind of gets a little annoying. And it's also good for processing things as a whole. So like if you want to add some drum bus compression, it's great for that. I'm going to end up making a video on top-down mixing, and maybe I'll show you how I process these groups, because that's also a big part of why you would route like this, is so you can process things as a whole. And also, like I've been saying throughout this whole video, for automation purposes. So for example, with drums, you get your overall balance of all the tracks on the individual track level, and then you can turn the entire kit up and down with this group. So that's very nice. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little shorter than usual, but there's not very much you can say about this. If you have any more questions on this, feel free to message me or leave a comment. I'll be very happy to explain all of this in further detail. But I don't think there's very much more that you can say about this. So if you liked this, please give it a like. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a dislike. You're entitled to your opinion. If you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. So keep your eye out for some more videos. I believe the next one that I'm going to do is gain staging for you. And we'll probably be working with this track for the next couple of videos. So I hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you once again.